minutes to order. Councilor Vasquez, you are in the Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this beautiful day. We thank you for the opportunity to celebrate the birth of your Son, our Christ. We thank you for in harm's way. Bless everyone in this meeting and bless our thoughts and our minds and our words. Amen.
Shelley, will you roll call? Jody Hitchcock. Denise Taylor. Here. Jack Baker.
Here.
Early Buzzer.
Here.
Joe Bird.
Here.
Julia Tuck. Mel Fulbright. Don Bergman. Frankie Hargis. Hannah Gloria Jordan. Lee Keener. Dick Way.
Here.
Curtis Snell. David Thornton.
Here.
Victoria Vasquez. David Walkingstick. Karen Helen Watts.
Okay, you have your November 13th minutes in your books. Has everybody looked over that?
I make a motion to be approved.
Okay, I have a motion by Councilor Vasquez, a second by Councilor Baker to approve the November 13 minutes. All those in favor say aye. Any opposition? Okay, those are approved. We'll move on to our reports. I saw Sean here. Oh, there he is. From Cherokee Nation Business, Sean Slayton. Right in.
Good morning, council.
Good morning.
Be reporting on October. We had ended up with a net income of 9.2 million. It was a great month, $1 million higher than the budget. We actually 800.
some of the town fathers on the Simmons plant closure. It's gonna affect about 227 to 29 employees, and they plan to shut the doors on December the 22nd. All of the employees, about 200 of them, have been offered jobs elsewhere in the area, Knoll, up in Southwest City, Missouri, different places where they can work. There's about 20 of them they're not sure about whether they can be relocated. I was just telling Councilman Buzzard, we met at Grand Federal Savings, and it was reported that about 3% of the employees are Native American, and so it will have a lot of impact on the economy. There has been a proposal from one of the ancestors of the Peterson family. They have indicated that they could get a USDA loan to come in and take the plant over. They're hoping to take it over within a window so that they don't have to go back and have the thing actually stop. Because if it stops, then they'll have to go through all the processes and going through DEQ and the state to get all those agreements back in place. So they're hoping to have, they're working on that right now. I know that the guy that is from the Peterson family has made contact with Chief Baker. Sean Slayton's involved. All of us have been involved to some extent, and Senator Wyrick was there at the meeting, and he did tell us that the governor has $17.5 million that she can put with some closures or businesses to try to keep them here in the state. And he brought that up, and it's monies that they can apply to it. If he gets the USDA loan, it'll be about $3 million, and he's still needing around $600,000. And we're hoping that Commerce will be able to appeal to the governor today. They're meeting with Johnny Arp and some of the players, and Jay. I apologize for my throat. But they're meeting with those players, Jay, today at 10 o'clock. So we'll know whether or not they're gonna be able to come in with anything. And then we're trying to set up a meeting with C and B tomorrow. So yeah, we're working on it from our end, and we told them that we would be able to help with any kind of recruitment for any of those other positions. One of the things about that plant that a lot of people don't know is that it produces the fat hens, the big hens, and they said that there is not another plant that produces those other than a 5-hour drive from here. And that's why they think it's a good thing to try to secure that plant. Johnny Arp told us that they had remodeled it back about 2.5 to 3 years ago, so it was set up for those bigger birds. So with that said, that's one of the reasons why they're trying to come in on it. Peterson's, you know, filed bankruptcy, I think, several years ago, but he's actually been involved in the poultry business, and he's actually wanting to, you know, get that plant where it's still runnable. And some of those same employees that are working there could actually be retiring their jobs. So that's what went on Friday. We have a, help job fair plan for the Ochaleta Clinic on Wednesday, January the 7th. Rhonda Cochran has been working with our office, and we're gonna be working with HR this week, trying to set up a meeting on that. There's like 27 to 29 employees positions. Rhonda's office has sent us the job descriptions, and we'll get that out on the Cherokee careerconnections.com website. So we're working on that this week. Have a meeting Wednesday in Tulsa with the Tulsa Area Chamber of Commerce on Macy's. If you got the Tulsa World yesterday, Tulsa World did give us some publicity on that because we are actually going to be helping with recruitment. The Macy's people out of Ohio have made contact with us. They will be here in January. They want to come by and visit our office, visit with the staff, and look at our capabilities as far as our computers for helping with that recruitment. And that will start sometime in January. So as I get more information, I'll be glad to share it with you all. We're involved with the State Rapid Response on Amazon, and I've got a group working in Fort Smith on trying to get some people jobs over in Sequoia County in the industrial park there in Fort Smith. Brittany and Charbrice are working at Mid-America with a couple of businesses. We've got some contracts there. They're also working with Bolt out of Bonita. And that's pretty much it. John Smith, who is my job development coordinator, he's still in intensive care at WW Hastings, so please keep him in your prayers. He's been in intensive care since December the 4th, and they're supposed to put a trach in tomorrow, and they're hoping that that will help, but he hasn't been able to breathe without that tube. So keep him in your thoughts and prayers. It just happened with son. That's all I have to report. Are there any questions?
Yes, Counselor Buster?
I don't know that I have any questions. I just want to comment about what Ms. Kelly said about the Colton plant in Jay. That plant has been there probably for 70 to 80 years. It started back in the early 50s. And it just started a small operation then, and for over the years, it's grown and grown and grown. And what she said is exactly right. There's probably about 70 to 75% that are natives that work at that plant. And that's basically the only job that we have in Jay other than the laundromat now. So it's really important that we try to keep this plant, or help them to keep it open as much as we can, because a lot of people depend on those particular types of jobs. Even if we went to work over in Missouri and Arkansas, you know, that's a pretty good drive, although I do understand the poultry company is making arrangements to furnish transportation, so that's a plus for that. But I'm hoping that the governor can come in with some dollars to help keep this plant open. I know that's what the money is for, the state of Oklahoma. And hopefully the CMB board can take a look at that and maybe come up with a plan to help out, because we're going to see a lot of Native Americans that's going to be out of work there. And not Native Americans there, but the city of Jay, you know, that's really a poor area in Delaware County, and so that's the biggest revenue maker they are there in Jay. So it's important that the town get behind this and help to keep that plant open also. But I didn't get to attend the meeting on Friday, but I did meet with the Johnny Arp, the president of the bank, there on Sunday, and it gave me some information. There's some promising things about it, especially if this guy can come up at $3 million with that loan. It doesn't leave a whole lot of money, although it is a lot of money, but still, it's a chance that we have to take. So I'd like to, just to say that, you know, I would like to support, or do want to support, I don't know if this is the correct place, but, you know, Ms. Kelly talked about a job fair in Oshaleta. And I don't know, I hadn't talked to Councilor Lay about the Oshaleta Clinic, but I think it's about finished with Councilor Lay. The work is about finished there. But I was just visiting with some people out at the convention I was at, and we talked about laborers that go there. And I know at Jay, we have some laborers that are not Cherokee. And it just seems to me like that here in Tahlequah, we have our job bank here in Tahlequah, and we have a lot of people that could do those jobs, but the problem is they don't have vehicles to get up there to the job site. But I guess my question, Ms. Kelly, is have we checked with the Caliban or those other public transportation to see if they can actually pick workers up and take them, say, to Oshaleta or to Jay? I mean, our job bank is, you know, have a lot of people here. I think the problem is that they can't get to the job site because they don't have the car or the gas money.
I think the whole purpose of us having the health job fair in that area is to see what we actually are going to get from the positions that are open. And we feel like that there will be a lot of health clinicians from the Tulsa area, from up in that area, that will apply for those jobs, because they're all health positions.
And I wasn't really talking about the health positions, I was more or less talking about the construction part of it. Like the clinic at Oshaleta, I don't know what the percentage was of Indian workers there. And I think at the J Clinic, I don't think the Indian workers are that high. What I'm saying is if we can get these people that are Cherokees, even from Tahlequah or Stillwell or wherever, and get a van to truck them up there, you know, at least they can have a job, and maybe after that they can afford to get a car to go to the job. So, just something to look at. You know, if we can't get an all-Indian team working on Oshaleta, why not get the Indians from Tahlequah to take them up there and go to work? But the job fair, the health fair, you know, you're probably going to be more successful with that, I would say. But anyway, I was just talking about the construction.
We did have 2 construction fairs up in the Ojoleta area, and the first one was not publicized as well as it should have been.
Yeah.
We only had 2 people that showed up, and then we publicized it, and I think there was only 4 that showed up the next time. So we did not have the turnout up there like we wanted, but we did have a good turnout for Adair County and for Delaware County.
And that's the very reason I say, why not take these people to the job bank here in Cherokee County, and if you get 10 people, say, out and do concrete, get a van and take them home, put them to work. So, anyway, just a thought. And that's, thank you.
Is that all? Does anybody else have questions of Diane? Oh, yes, I'm sorry.
I was happy to hear that you were working with some industry in Fort Smith, because we're still ranking #1 in unemployment in Sequoia County. It's kind of publicity we don't like. But I have been told that we've previously been placing quite a few workers at cell phone, but I heard they had a hiring freeze right now and weren't taking anybody, and so I'm just glad that you're reaching out to some other communities.
The Fort Smith workforce contacted us, as well as the University of Arkansas. They got a grant just like we did, the JD grant, and we're gonna be meeting with them on some of the people that live over in Sequoia County that can be referred over. So Shelley Denny is the job developer that was actually hired for Tulsa because she's from there, but she's working in Salazar right now. And Dixie Weathers, who works out of this office, will be working down there with her 1 to 2 days a week. So their blueprint is to go work the Fort Smith area to find out what jobs are viable, as well as Charbreeze and Ruthie Whaler. They're working Mid-American also up in Benita. So that's what their marching orders are, and they're doing a good job.
Thank you.
Okay, and is that grant up and operational, or are we still in the getting stuff?
No, it is up and running. It is up and running.
And do I understand correctly, veterans who are not Cherokee can also?
Yes, it's open to anybody who comes in who meets the eligibility criteria, which is being unemployed for a period of 27 weeks or longer.
Okay.
Or that they are caught in a situation like the closure of a plant, and it's considered a hardship, and those people can actually apply. And if we can assist them in getting into another career or another career path, that's what we'll do.
So they don't have to be Cherokee or veteran? It's
No,
open to
veteran
everyone?
preference, if a veteran came in, they'll get paid, but it's open to anybody.
Okay, very good. And then the GED testing site at Pryor, I visited with Stephanie just briefly about that. Is it big enough to handle what you've got? Are you at capacity? Can you speak to that just a little bit?
It's my understanding that they can handle whatever they're getting. We've got Thunderbird that's coming down here, but the reason they're coming down here, and I was wondering that myself, it's because they get so many students that are ready to graduate, so they run as many through up there, and then they bring the overflow down here.
That was my question, because she had mentioned Thunderbird specifically.
Yeah.
Okay, does anybody else have, oh, yes?
I just have another question that I forgot to mention a while ago, but and I'm not sure this is what we need to talk about, maybe it is, maybe not, but on the Terrell database, I had talked to some people about jobs, and they don't get called, and then I find out what the problem is with the database is the telephone numbers that those people give, because they usually have a cell phone number, and it's a different number 6 months from now or 3 months from now.
John.
Is there a different way that we can get those numbers, because I think that's the problem.
I'm gonna let John.
Okay, and just a question for John, I guess. John, if we're looking for 10 concrete workers and you pull 10 names out of the database, how many would you be successful in getting in contact?
It all depends. We use 2 different ways. There's the database that we have, the job bank, and we also have people that come in every day that are actually looking for a job in that area. So what we do normally first is refer the people in that area to those jobs. They're the closest ones. They have the best opportunity to get there by, whether it's a short drive or riding with someone else. Then when you go further out, then you have to worry about the supplemental transportation. Can they we even went to the option where we had a group out here in Woodall, 3 different gentlemen, that we actually buddied them up together so they could drive with each other. The only problem is when the driver, the one person that's driving doesn't go to work, then 3 people don't go to work. So we're working with all different things. It's the same with our vendors. We send out emails, mass emails to our Carol vendors, and they come back, and when we do, then we have to call them all back, get their new email address, get their new phone numbers and everything else. It's an ongoing thing. To get consistent numbers, we probably need to call these people every once a month to get the numbers and everything else. We try to catch them on the job fairs when they come back in and get current numbers and things like that.
But if you was to go to your database today and pull up 10 names and call numbers, how many do you think you would get in contact?
2.
That's not a very good number. Is there a different way that we can get those numbers? Because I know the health department does a good job with getting numbers, and I know we can't get those numbers from the health department. But ever since I've worked here at the Nation, we've advocated, or I've advocated, to have a database for all the people that give services to tribal members. That's never been done. Water and sanitation, they have their database. You have a database. Human Services have a database. Every department has their own database, but none of them share it. And I know what it costs to get the health department database up. It's a lot of money, but still, it just makes sense for all the departments to come together and set up a one database for services. And the other thing I was going to talk to John about is there's got to be a different way. And I'll tell you what I've thought about. If you look at the health department database, if a person come in, they need to get a hold of a grandson or a son or a daughter, they can do it because what they do is they have that emergency number, and usually a parent will know how to get a hold of their child, their daughter or son. If that's on our database, I think that would help, an emergency number. Because the health department does a good job about getting hold of people that numbers are no good, because they have that emergency number, and if I'm a parent, I probably know where my boy is or my son is to get a hold of them. So that may be something you want to look at, see if we can add that in.
We can actually add that to our site.
Exactly.
Put that in there.
But anyway, I just was thinking about that, but back to the database for all of our services here, this needs to be looked into, I think, because it doesn't make sense for 9 different departments to have 9 different databases that they provide services to our clients. And I know it's cost a lot of money, but once you get the thing up and running, it's fairly easy to keep that up to date. So it's just something that needs to be done. And we've talked about this for 20 years here at the Nation. Nobody's taken it by the horn and got it done. I know what it's going to cost, but my goodness, if Water and Sanitation has an application up there, and all you have to do is put the name, address, and telephone number in there and pull that name up for you or Human Services. So anyway, that's kind of what I want to put out there. So give us something to think about, and you to think about, John, as far as emergency contact with people. So I just think we're missing out on a lot of potential customers, and you just can't get a hold of them. And it's not your fault. If I'm a person that wants a job, then I would think that I would turn my telephone number in or a contact number in. It's not your fault this is happening.
But we'll look at adding more numbers to our.
Well, thank you, I appreciate it. Thank you, Madam
Councilor Lake?
Thank you, Madam Chair. And it's not only the databases, I think it's also how many forms folks have to go start filling out when they go to each different department. And I know they talked about that back when Joe was chief. We've been talking about it for 35 years probably. And I don't know how to fix it. Because sometimes each department is a governmental program that has to have that one form different than everybody else does. And Harley, I had 35% Cherokee at Oshaleta. You had 32%, and both of them surprised me, especially Jay.
Yeah.
And here's the deal on the payroll companies. Some of them, not all, but some of them say that's not my problem. And when they signed up, they agreed that that would be one of their problems, or one of their duties, just to make sure they hire Cherokee and Indian preference. But after they get the bid, they say, oh, that's not my problem.
And that's not speaking. And that's the reason I bring this up to John. I know here in Tahlequah, our database, we could probably have more Cherokees on the database in Cherokee County and Adair County than we have in Nowata County or Craig County, and even Delaware County. It makes sense, you know, if we can't find the people up in Nowata to go to work, why not get a van here and pick them up and take them up to that job? Bring them back, you know, that, we've got fellow van, and we put a lot of money into that transit system now, you know. Maybe it's worth a shot to take a look at it and see if something like that may work. I know the job at Ochaleta is almost completed now. That's something for reference, we need to take a look at and see. Anyway, I agree. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Any other questions for Diane? Councilor Ward?
Yes, I want to address this to Secretary. They're talking about this database. It's been talked about for years. How come we don't consolidate and have one form of information we can all go to? Is there a reason why we can't? Is it due to our funding, or is it just something that the council should years ago legislate for something like this to take place and not just talk about it?
It's a very good question. We've got a big government with lots of departments and lots of points where information is being taken in and where it's being stored. We probably, for decades, have not done as good a job as we could do in sharing that information between departments. Our departments are tasked with so much. We're tasked with getting that information in and making sure we get that applicant the home that they need, the job that they need, the health care that they need. So putting all hands on deck to take care of that probably doesn't leave a hand on deck to say, we're going to take this database and share it with the other department. It doesn't mean that it's not important. It just means, given the resources that we have, that's where, you know, for decades we've chosen to focus is on the service aspect of it. But we see more and more, as Councilor Buzzard points out, opportunities to have better information in our job banks. We should look at that. We will look at that. I don't want to sit here and tell you we're on a precise time frame to look at it. We do have the good news. Some good news in this is we do have an infrastructure in place now with the photo IDs, with the information that will be captured on the back, to build more efficiencies in the future, so that a department, perhaps at the swipe of a card, can bring up information, and that would presuppose that that information is some central area. We need to get there, but we have that bit of infrastructure in place that I think should help us down the road.
In your next executive directors meeting with the chief, would you bring this up and just see, you know, if this is something of a priority they want to look into, then just report back to us, then maybe we can take action from our side.
Certainly will.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Councilor Ward?
Where'd you go? Up there. There you go.
I just want to make sure, I know that health department would have confidentiality. I want to make sure that not any other of these services would have it. Because that's usually what I run into when I go asking for information. It's confidentiality. So, would you please check on that too?
Absolutely. If we're going to share data, we want to make sure we're not breaching someone's confidentiality. I appreciate that point.
I know there'll be some people out there that don't want anybody else to know information happens. I appreciate it if you share it. Look at it. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, guys.
Go ahead, Diane.
Stephanie brought this note. It says, yes, Pryor is big enough for Thunderbird. Their students can only test at certain times of the year, which generally equates to 1 or 2 weeks, 2 or 3 times a year. Based on their volume and short time frame, students test wherever they can.
Okay, that's fine. I just want to be sure that she has the facility she needs to meet the needs, because I understand testing sites across the state are very limited. And so I just want to be sure, if you don't have the tools you need to do your job, you can't do your job efficiently. So that was the only reason I asked.
Yeah, Landra's really good about working with Job Corps in Thunderbird, because there are certain times of the year that those students have to be tested in order to get their performance ratings. So she works very closely with them to ensure that they get that.
Great. Okay, any other questions for Diane or Secretary Wise here? Okay, thank you. Move on to the lovely and talented Anna. And Gibson.
And clumsy, I forgot clumsy. I think I'll just, if you don't mind, sit here. I don't like to move from one rolling thing to another. So good morning to everyone.
Good morning.
You have a copy of our report. I would also like to let you know that we have our new social media coach is here to help businesses access and expand their markets through online sales and utilize social media to try to advertise their market. And she's also working with us on the Cowie Cafe and the Spider Clubs in those particular areas. This last month, we made application to the CDFI for $1 million in small business loans. We've never gotten it 2 years in a row, and this will be the third year in a row, so keep your fingers crossed. We're also working with the Trust Authority Board on a strategic plan for the loan funds and how to better demonstrate program impact. In next month's report, we should have a more solid field visit schedule for our business coach, Brian Wagner. He's going to be the one that runs out to all the field areas and holds regular office hours in those areas and making contact and trying to spread the word. We have a hard time reaching out to people in the outlying areas and getting responses back from them. And then we also should have a report in January about the number of folks that have graduated from the Cowie Cafe's training program and what they're doing now. Other than that, if you have any questions, I'm happy to try to answer them.
Councilor Vasquez has a question.
Thank you, ma'am. I just have one quick question, and I wasn't listening carefully when you said that about the social media coach.
Mhm.
Do you have a contact name and number for that?
I don't have her phone number right with me. It's Laura Doss. And right now, she's in the art center in Donna's office while Donna's off with her husband, and she'll be moving up to the Fort Mall, but I can email you with her contact information.
And is that for any artist, any business owner?
Yes, yeah, Cherokee, yes.
Cherokee.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Anna? Yes, Councilor Buster.
And I know that you do give us the names and the dollar amount that you loan to different people or organizations.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if the other counties want, but could you give me a list of the loans in Delaware County the reason I'm asking this is I may want to send somebody to those people that have business loans or something like that, and I really don't know who those people are.
Okay.
Can you do that?
We should be able to
Okay.
send you the names of the businesses on this map that you have right here. It's
Yeah.
since 2010.
Yeah.
So it may take us a little bit because we'll have to sort through the database to pull out the addresses.
That'd be great. And I know you do put them in there, because I've looked at this stuff and it says you get the loan, but I'd be interested in the ones, especially in Delaware County.
Okay.
If I could send people that patronize the businesses, that's what I'd like to do.
Sure.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
You're welcome. Councilor Byrd?
Yes, and I just want to commend you on how you present your information. Color coded, very easy to read, and I was looking at the commercial Linden impact by county, and it gives us the number. If you put names in there, I don't know if you can divulge that or not.
We can divulge it, with the and this is all the commercial loans. We can probably send that to you guys, maybe in a separate spreadsheet by county.
Okay.
And as long as we don't give you any of their financial information, we should do it.
Okay. Well, good report. Thank you.
Okay.
Anything else?
Thank you.
Designee.
That's Dr.
Doctor, my bad.
Osio, Ojali Haliga Jijagoha. Happy to be here and happy to be here with you all. My name is Dr. Candace Teehee, and I'm the Executive Director of the Cherokee Heritage Center. I have with me today Susan Plum, who is the President of the Cherokee National Historical Society, which is the Board of Trustees for the Cherokee Heritage Center. First of all, I want to start by thanking Council for all of your support over the past year, and thank all of you for attending various events at the Cherokee Heritage Center, and several of you are donors, either from your personal funds or from community funds, and I want to thank you for that. Just a moment ago, our annual giving medallion was passed out. We brought one for each council member. This is an example of what donors who participate in the annual giving program at $100 or more are receiving. Donors who participate at the level of $1,000 or more are receiving special gifts as well. Thus far, our annual giving campaign has raised a little over $4,000, and we are very pleased with that response. Of course, you know, in the upcoming year, we want to do more and do better, and the dollars from the annual giving campaign assist us in that measure, in promoting, preserving, and teaching Cherokee history, heritage, and culture. I want to thank Victoria Mitchell-Vasquez, counselor, who participated in our annual giving campaign this year, her support of the Cherokee Heritage Center has been outstanding, and we really appreciate that. I think our annual report, or our report to the council at this point, is part of the Education Services report, part of that greater report. Thus far, we have had visitors from over 80 countries, from 48 states, and you know, we are several thousand visitors at the Cherokee Heritage Center at this point, and we're very pleased with those numbers. Of course, in the upcoming year, we want to increase those. I was notified this morning that I was selected as one of 8 international museum partners for a Museum at the Crossroads workshop, which is going to be held at Mather's World Museum of Culture in May of 2015. And you know, to be selected as one of 8 international partners is a great honor for the Cherokee Heritage Center and for me as well. So I'm very happy to report that. And of course, we open ourselves to questions. We continue to partner with Cherokee Nation departments and organizations and continue to do outreach programs. Currently, we are over 12,000 with our outreach programs, and with a outreach department of 1, that's really outstanding. So, you know, I like to take a moment to brag on our employees in that way. But, you know, any questions that you have, we're open to.
Councilor Vasquez.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. I have a comment, and I wanted to address the council because last August, when we were doing our budget hearings, and I was able to secure $50,000 to give to the Cherokee National Treasures for the next year for programs that they could teach and stipends for them. I want to thank Candace and the Heritage Center for offering a space where if people want to teach their culture or their art outdoors, she's letting us use a space there at no charge. Also, the same thank you to Anna Knight. I think she's gone, but we are getting space at the Cherokee Art Center at no cost to the National Treasures to share their cultural knowledge. And this is a big help. Trying to get the elder master artists and craftsmen to come forward and do this is like pulling teeth. So the easier we can make it for them, the better it is. And I'm just a big one.
I wanted to point out that through October, there have been over 46,000 visitors at the Heritage Center. That's a big number, so good job. Anything else for Candace? Yeah. Okay.
I have just a couple of comments. First of all, Dr. Teehee is doing a fantastic job. She can make lemonade out of lemons every day and does that. So she's an organization, and I just can't say enough how happy we are to have her there. And particularly, I would like to thank Councilman Byrd, Councilman Walkingstick, Ms. Mitchell-Vasquez, and and Councilman Baker for their continued individual support of the Heritage Center. It really makes a difference. So a couple of notes on some board reorganization efforts that we're undergoing. You know, it's a tough time for nonprofits everywhere. And one of the things that not-for-profits can do and are doing to improve their lot is to divide their board frequently into a fundraising board and an operating board. So with that in mind, the current board is contemplating doing that. One of the reasons behind that is so that the fundraising board can be an expanded number and can be a large number, does not require as much of a time commitment as the operating board does. It just requires a monetary commitment. And so we're looking at those things right now, and I'm very encouraged by the board in general. They seem willing to change and grow and modernize with the times. So those are the things we're contemplating. And one of the things that's on the table is to have the council as advisory on that fundraising board. So that board would be called the Friends of the Cherokee Heritage Center. So that's just a small update, and we thank you for your continued support. Happy holidays.
Anything else for Dr. Tiki or Ms. Columbia doing? Okay, thank you, ladies. Merry Christmas. Okay, we're gonna move on to our consent items. First up are the Tiro certifications. Okay. I have a motion, yes, Councilman.
We have something passed out that's actually added to this
Right.
list.
Would you address that for us,
Yes.
Mr. Record?
Due to the meetings being moved up, normally the committee will pass a company, approve a company, committee that needs a few documents. And normally we have 1 or 2 weeks before this meeting, and we have to turn in our paperwork to you guys to look at. This time, we had the meeting on Wednesday, by 2 o'clock that day, or 3 o'clock, we had to give the agenda to Shelley. And this company turned in their last piece of paperwork last Friday. So we would like to ask you guys to have them on to be approved.
Need a motion to, I ask for a friendly amendment to include these with the Carroll listing.
Okay. Okay. So I have a motion and a second. I'm sorry. Okay. So I have a motion and a second to accept this with the friendly. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Okay, motion carries.
Thank you.
Okay.
John, did you ever find out whether that one company changed ownership?
They did. We've removed them from the list. They've been removed for 3 months now. They're actually, the gentleman that purchased the company is trying to work through registration to get a Cherokee Nation citizens card. So when that comes, they'll actually have to reapply to become Carroll certified. But we're not looking probably till February, March, or April before we get to that.
Are we looking on all of our renewals to make sure that the companies have not been sold during the year?
Yes, what they do in the renewals is they have to fill out a form that has to be notarized, that no ownership has changed, and they have to send in a copy of the last year's taxes, so we can actually look at that. Now, we did have a few owners that passed away within the last week of 2 Carroll businesses, so I'm working through that right now with my staff and through the family of those companies to see where we're going with them.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Okay. Cody, I don't see the cemetery, were there no changes on the cemetery, or am I overlooking it?
Cemetery?
There must have been no additions for about 100 years.
so let's go on and take a look at community assistance.
Okay, there is, Gail just handed me there's a new list that has a couple added, that she didn't get a chance to hand out to you. It's, Marble City School for $1,000 and Connor State College for $500. That's in addition to the list that you had.
Okay, and then also, I don't know if the change has been made on the other list on my prior junior high donation. I need to change that to 180 and 150. And it may be on the updated list,
What was the name of it again?
prior junior high.
I don't see it on there, so.
It was last month's.
Oh, okay. It's on last month's, it was on there for 150, you needed.
Mhm. And I
Okay,
did
so I'll
increase
just
it
think we have
$30.
revision to add $30 to it.
Please.
Okay. And, we also have one more tri-community Cherokee organization for $500.
Speaker?
D.D. Etcherson Church for $500, and both of those last two are outreach.
What was that last name?
It's D.D. Etcherson Church here in California, and then that tri-community, both of those are outreach. Organizational outreach. Split 3 ways, right, between District 1, 2, and 3.
Okay, Councilor Durbin?
We'll get David's money. Because
Yeah, he doesn't start.
Go ahead,
I
Councilor
don't
Durbin.
have this list, so I want to ask Jody, the one Connors, is that mine?
It should be. Yes, it is. Yes.
Any other questions? Okay, with the additions, let's vote on this. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Oh, do we need a motion? I'm sorry. Thank you, Frankie. I got a motion and a second. Now let's vote. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Okay, the ayes have it. Moving on to law enforcement.
There's, you have a list, but there's no new additions.
Okay. How about, roads?
Roads, you have the list, but there's no new additions.
Sports teams? Actually, we don't have a list, so it
Yeah.
does not have changed.
And there's no changes on the livestock.
Okay, we don't have any old business, so let's move on to these amendments to the or to the budget, excuse me. I'm just grabbing people by the Okay, this is an act amending legislative act 2414, authorizing the comprehensive capital budget for fiscal year 2015, modification 1, and declaring an emergency. And it is cumulative total is increased by $4,789,600 for a total budget of $124,479,031. And I move for its approval. Okay. Okay, so Speaker makes a motion and
I'll second.
and Councilor Baker seconds it. So can we have some explanation on it?
This is for the health equipment replacement, under capital projects, modification requesting a $4,789,600 increase in expenditure authorization. The increase is funded by $1,789,600 in awards from IHS specifically for tribal medical equipment and a $3,000 increase in carryover funds. The new total for this budget is now $14,789,600.
Okay, so we have a, yes, Counselor Lay? Okay. Shelley? Counselor Lay and Steve Rubin would like to be added, and so does Counselor Thomas. Okay, we have a motion and second. All those in favor of this modification say aye. Aye. All those opposed? The ayes have it. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
Does this need to go to full council tonight?
That would be great. Okay. So, I need a motion for that.
I'll second.
You put that in form of a motion, Counselor?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So I have a motion and second to move this to full council. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay. Move it on to this side. Thank you.
This is an act amending legislative act 2514 authorizing a comprehensive operating budget for fiscal year 2015 Mod 4 and declaring an emergency. After that, I'll have a motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on this budget modification. Is there discussion?
Go ahead, include in that motion for this fiscal
Okay.
year.
Okay, this is modification 4. The total is $7,488,033. There's $201,771 branch reporting and $7,286,262 in the request. First item is Heart of a Nation, 1010-278 General Fund, modification requesting an increase in expenditure authorization of $10,724. The new budget total of $21,739 includes $14,513 from carryover and $7,226 from current year income. Item 2 is emergency. Yes.
What is their income?
It's most of it's fundraising and stuff like that. So.
Okay, so it's just basically what their department is
Right,
raised?
right.
Okay.
Yes. Item 2 is a emergency assistance program, 1010-460 general fund. Modification requesting a decrease in expenditure authorization of $105,750 to be reprogrammed to accounting unit 1010-461. And item 3, the $52,000 remaining balance in this budget will be used by the health department only. Item 3, human services emergency assistance, 1010-461 general fund. Modification requesting an increase in expenditure authorization of $105,750 coming from the budget in item 2. The new total for this budget is $255,750, and those two items basically they're just moving the money to make one of them health department emergency assistance and one human services emergency assistance. Item 4, agriculture, noxious weed, 322-1070, Department of the Interior Self-Governance, modification requesting an increase in expenditure authorization of $45,376 from fiscal year 2014 carryover funds. The new total for this budget is $75,376. Item 5, Public Law 102-477, Child Care. Modification requesting an increase in expenditure authorization of $2,663,772 for revised award and carryover reconciliation. The new total for this budget is $16,928,220. Item 6, Public Law 102-477, Employment and Training. Modification requesting an increase in expenditure authorization of $51,627 for increased award. The new total for the budget is $1,701,983. Item 7, Bartlesville Revenue, IHS Self-Governance, Health, Modification requesting an increase in expenditure authorization of $2,103,041 related to the new Oshaleta Clinic, including new positions and associated operational costs. This is funded by $1,758,233 increase usage of self-governance revenue and $304,808 increased third-party revenue. The new total for this budget is $3,595,090. Item Benita revenue, IHS self-governance, modification requesting an increase in expenditure authorization of $360,550 related to increased staffing of 4.25 FTEs. This is funded by $49,065 increased usage of self-governance revenue and $311,485 increased third-party revenue. The new total for this budget is $9,446,220. Item 9, Hastings revenue, IHS self-governance. Modification requesting an increase in expenditure authorization of $841,975 related to increased staffing of 3.76 FTE. This is funded by increased usage of self-governance revenue. The new total for this budget is $91,536,620. Item 10, meth and suicide prevention. IHS self-governance health. Modification requesting an increase in expenditure authorization of $64,510 for carryover reconciliation. The new total for this budget is $202,680. Item 11, dental, IHS self-governance. Modification requesting an increase in expenditure authorization of $902,298 related to increased staffing of 4.5 FTE. This is funded by $485,758 increased usage of self-governance revenue, $416,540 increased third-party revenue. The new total for this budget is $16,630,900. Item 12, clinical support, IHS self-governance health. Modification requesting an increase in expenditure authorization of $54,843 related to increased contract services and is funded by increased usage of self-governance revenue. The new total for this budget is $1,882,280. Item 13, health facilities, IHS self-governance health. This is a modification requesting an increase in expenditure authorization of $98,201 related to increased staffing of 4 FTE custodial positions that's funded by increased usage of self-governance revenue. The new total for this budget is $3,996,445. Item 14, health finance, IHS self-governance. Modification requesting an increase in expenditure authorization of $89,345 related to increased staffing of 2 FTEs for dental billing and is funded by increased usage of self-governance revenue. The new total for this budget is $1,133,452.
I'd like to be added to sponsor.
Victoria?
I'll be added.
Councilor Rowland?
And I want to add. But also, 7 through 14 are just moving the health money around, right?
Correct.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? All those in favor of this budget modification indicate by saying aye. All those opposed? Okay, and Shelley, you did catch, we're gonna take that to full council. Okay, are there any announcements? Seeing none, I would entertain a motion to adjourn. I have a motion and a second to adjourn, all those in favor? All right,
It's exciting. I got all these files open just in case there's a question.